Hi friends, this is Vetrivel. This tutorial I will teach load more options, load more data on demand in repeater control. So I click load more data. It will loading the data. Up to I am loading the 5 records without refreshing. So you can load the records. So here I used repeater and update panel and process panel. Okay, I have used 3 controls here, main controls. Now I will teach how to make that. Okay, first of all I need to create the store position. I will show the my table name. This is my table name, alter way. I am using the records from this product table. Go to show data, you will get the I have 128 records is there right now. So I need to go to config. I had this connection string here. So first go to view and click server explore, and you have to add connection and add your connection. Just you have to put the dot and select alter way. This is my database name. Which database you are using, you have to simply choose that database here. You are using here I am using this alter way database, and click this database and go to properties. You will see the connection string here. Just you have to copy this connection string, copy this connection string and paste it here. Connection string open, and connection string add name is connection string, and connection string is I am just copy and paste it. So this is paste in a web config. After that I need to add the web config here. Call the web config here SQL connection con equal to new connection. So you want to use this SQL connection. Before that you have to declare the SQL using system.data.SQL client. After that you are using the configuration to call this web config. So you have to use the config system.config. So here I successfully configure my SQL connections here. Before that I need to initiate value in number equal to 0. I am inserting the values. Why we are using this number? So this is the by default this is 5 records. So I need to declare how many records by default I want. So that's why I am using here 0. Here I am using 5 records. So it will showing the 5 records. Okay, here page, this is not equal to page dot post back. Post back means, so once hit the button it cannot refresh. So that's why I am using the post back. That is the not main reason. Once hit the button, so it will again repressing the server side. So I need to hide those details. That's why I am using the page dot post back, so not post back, so it will won't post back. So I am initiating the number equal to 5. Here I am declaring the view state. I am creating the view state to store the values. So that view state only works on the page running time only. Once you have to refresh these sections, it won't show the it won't store the view state. Any records, you can't find the any records in that view state. So just temporarily variables only, temporarily values only I am storing. So I am using the view state num equal to number. So I am storing the values to that view state here. After that I am declaring the bind repeater. This is a function, custom function. That means I am myself, I am created that function. It is not a system function. So here I am calling this number, storing the number. So that number is comes here. Okay, in runtime it comes here. Before that I will declare 2 store procedures. One, I have many store procedure, but I will teach one. this is a get student details. I am just giving the procedure name. This is student details. But so why I am using this procedure name? So I am getting the top value. So once I will show the details. Before that, just go to new query, here products. So I am just put the star here and execute. So it will come the 120 records here. Here before that you have to put top 5. So execute, it will come only 5 records. Top 10, it execute only 10 records. So I need to pass how many records I want. Just I have to pass the records, pass the values here. It will automatically fetch the values from the DB, from the database. Okay, that's why I am using this query here. Okay, just I am putting the at top. I am declaring the parameter is at top and pass the parameter here and get the values from this procedure. Using this procedure, I have to use one more procedure, is counting the value, how much records is there. So 128 records is right now in my database. I am getting the values from here, how many records right now in my database. Okay, so once I execute the project, I will get the value. So I have 128 records right now. So I am getting the result for that. Okay, now I am going to program right now. So here binding number of slaves. So I am declaring the data table dt equal to new data table. So it's a temporary data table, temporary table, is act as a temporary table. So you have to declare this data table. Before that you have to mention the using dot system dot data, then only you can use that. Okay, so after that you have to SQL command cmd equal to null, SQL data adapter ADP equal to null I am using. Now I am using the try catch. Try, it will try the records here. See, this is the try block. This is, so it will try to execute these records. In case any errors comes, it will execute the catch functions here. Catch function I am using the script dot register startup script, like this is the JavaScript, is act as a JavaScript. In runtime it will converted into the JavaScript. In finally successfully executed. After that, finally I am closing the connections. So I am calling the connections here. This is the connections. So inside I am opening the connections. Open the connection, and after that I am closing the connections here. Close the connections and cmd disport and the adb equal to null and dt database. I am clearing the database and dispose the database here. Here or count. So I am executing the how many records right now in database. I am getting the values how many records in right now database. So I am using the r count. R count also is a function, custom functions. I am created the r count here. Here I am executing int number of rows equal to 0. So executing the connections here, like get student details sp dot con connections, and see connection type equal to store procedure, and try I am using here also try catch. Here connection is open and execute the command. So execute the command is scalar. I say execute scalar, so it will comes from the like a variable value. After that I am converting that value into number of rows. So in rows, so it will store here 28. It will store here 28. So 28. After that return the value is 28. So it is a int function. So I am just calling for storing the int function value. So same data type. So he will see this is int row functions. So that's why I am storing the values to int here. So this is the same data type. You can easily paste. After that I am comparing the values. Is number of rows greater than or count. So you have to think. So I have 128 records right now, but in loading 130 it comes, so it will showing the error. It will showing the error. So that's why I am using here row count greater than number of rows, so it will hide the and load more button. So it will load more button, it won't execute after that. Okay, so it will automatically disabled here. Okay, that's why I am using here. After that I am executing the command and connection, open the connections, and cmd I am top values, I am passing the top values is number of row. So it number of row is 5, so it will comes 5 here. After that 128 greater than 5, so this condition is false, so it if condition it cannot work. After that it will go the connections and number of row 5, it will come and execute and execute the CMD. So I am using the SQL data adapter, so it will try to get the result from the SQL data adapter. After that I am fill that records into DT means data table. Okay, so after that DT rows count, I am counting the rows count greater than 0, then it will pass the values to repeater control, student repeater details. So I am using the repeater control here. I will teach all the details also. This also repeater control and data source equal to DT and repeaters control equal to data find. So in case it row this condition is false, it will come data source is null, so that means repeater you won't have any data that time. So now I will teach designing sections. So here I am using the script manager. So you have to go to toolbox and find the script manager here in Ajax extension. Under the Ajax section you can find the script manager and just drag down here. After that I am using the update panel. All the controls is comes under the update panel here. So I am using the update panel. After that I am using the field set. So how much width I need to want, I have to set the field set options. So in that legend option I am using the you have to use like F H1 H2 or anything you can use here. Using load more on demand, it will store it will show here. So field set under the, it will comes under the like that panel like that. After that I am using the table. Inside the table row sections I am adding the repeater control. So repeater have, I am using the header template after item template, after footer template. So I am open the table inside the header template here and putting the header also. After the item template I am using the data, this will be repeating the data here. So after I am footer template I am closing the tables. After that I am close the repeaters. So here I have to add one button, load more button. So load more button, ASP button I am using load more button here. That load more button have on click button, load more click. So it will calls, once I hit the button it will calls here. Okay, this and all also I will teach it later. Now I will teach button click. After that I am using the update progress. So update progress I am using static and display after 10 milliseconds. So it will work that 10 milliseconds. After that I am inside the update process template, I am calling the loading image, loading zip image. I have stored in loading zip image here. So you want load zip image, you can just go to Google and go to image, loader zip. Just type the loader zip and you can go to find the image. So which type of loader you want, just you have to copy and paste it and download it and store into image section and track the image sections here. After that you have to set the how much width and height you want, just you have to set the width and height. Okay, after that I am closing the progress template. So table and field set and content template. So update panel, I am using the update panel, so everything is under the update panel. So here I am using the content template. So this is the content template. So inside the content template I am just this is update panel. Inside the content template I am using the repeater and also I am using the process bar controls here. Now I am put the save button. I think all the details I think you have to know that. So this is the e value, it will comes from the database. Once I using data source dt and data bind, I am using the data bind, it will automatically comes from the e value sections. Okay, here and first time I am loading this right now. View state I am storing the values in 5. The bind record will comes the 5, so it will execute the results. So top 5 records will store into that dt. It will comes the 5 records only. Okay, so I will see first I am run the project here. So it will comes the only 5 records. Once I hit the load more button, that time execute these functions, that time I will get the values, previous value what I am stored in to view state. That previous value in first time should be in 10. So I am converting that view state value into integer. After that I am adding again 10 value. So right now is 20. That 20 it will be stored into this number num value. After that I am again calling bind repeater here, and store the value is 20. So it will go to the 20 here. So that means the 20 records will be loading right now. 20 records it will be loading. After that I am storing the recent value of this 20 into num value. Again click one more time, I am click button load more. That time so I will click the load more button, loading the 10 records. Again I am click the load more button. Previous value we set is 20 right now. After that I am adding and 10 record, 10 additional 10. So I am using 30, it will store here. So based on 30 record we will find the records. After that I am storing the 30 recent value, 30 store into again replacing the previous value of view state 20 to 30. So it will execute perfectly. So see, once I hit the button it will load the again 10. So it won't refresh, it will only update the this update panel only. Okay guys, we will meet on next best tutorial. Bye.